last time on New Hope, we joined Yamcha and Tien in the future Otherworld as they fought against a bunch of villains who had somehow regained their bodies. While Yamcha nearly one-shot every member of the Crusher Corps, its leader was able to attain the Super Saiyan transformation to make for a much more interesting battle. Then with Tien, we rejoin his fight with Lord Slug. Just like with Turles, Slug has also undertaken a slightly different backstory. With his evil essence, the young Slug became a threat to his own people. With Paranga's help, he was driven from the planet Namek forever by Guru, sending him to the furthest reaches of the universe. He swore vengeance on the Nameks and all who had banished him. He immediately began his conquest of any planet he encountered and hoped that one day he'd be able to reach planet Namek in revenge, a home he would fortunately never return to. Later, the emergence of a being as powerful as King Cold forced him to retreat to the Black Galaxy. It didn't take long for Slug to turn it into his own empire. Thus, Lord Slug was born. As the years passed, he became old and weak, and so a new quest arose, his search for eternal youth. With the help of Turles, he managed to harvest 5 fruits from the Tree of Might, a meager harvest given his years of research. But only one fruit was enough for the tyrant to regain his youth. A second fruit increased his power incredibly. It was at this point Turles chose to act, stealing the 3 remaining fruits and consuming them himself. The ensuing chaos we already know. Tien shouts out that none of that matters now, referring to Slug's frustrated statements about how great he used to be and all of that. Now he's in Otherworld. He's nothing more than an evil soul who needs to be sent back to hell. However, the villain claims he's mistaken. He'll show him why. He bellows for them to behold the power he's obtained from the fruits of the Tree of Might. Their end draws near. Just like with Piccolo, this Namek is also a Super Namekian. Tien worries that this is too dangerous for Chaozu. He should go take cover and he'll handle this by himself. His ally agrees, pleading with him to be careful. But Slug doesn't think so. Nobody's going anywhere. No! Chaozu! As Slug tries to Vegeta Chaozu, he cackles that there shouldn't be much left of those insects after that. The confidence that once personified the Fiend now returning after unleashing his full power. When he senses something, not much, but something. We see that Tien has Gohan'd himself. Although this time around it's a little more understanding given that he's been connected to Chaozu at the hip throughout most of their life and now death. And losing your body here isn't the same as losing it while you're alive. Or is it? As that lore develops, Slug is impressed that he managed to protect his comrade from that blast and survive. But at what cost? As a horrified Chaozu calls out to him. Even in his wounded state, he pleads with his friend to get away. Like with Yamcha, King Kai intervenes to let him know that he's aware of wanting to risk it all with the Kikoho. But with the gravity of his wounds, it would probably end his existence in Otherworld. It's way too risky. Enma's powers are still sealed. His soul would be unable to go to his office, and in less than 24 hours, it would disappear forever. Given their reactions, this is clearly a new stake for the pair. While they believe defeating their foes to send them straight to hell, it turns out they may be sitting in limbo with the possibility of disappearing forever. Which probably is not what has him worried, mind you. But Kaio continues that Tien has lost too much energy. He won't be able to defeat Slug. He needs to rely on Chaozu to stand a chance. Speaking of whom, Chaozu needs to stop relying on Tien all the time. He's now an accomplished warrior with great strength himself, and it's time for him to realize it. And together, they will defeat Slug. In the South Quadrant, Krillin is placed before Frieza and Cold. The former Frost Demon cackling that since he won't tell him where Goku is hiding, he's sure that he'll be much more cooperative with a few less limbs. Reminder, this is not the same Krillin who turned himself into an android in Bested Cell. This iteration is from Trunks' timeline. He cries out that this is a nightmare! There's no way he's fighting those 2 monsters! Taking off, the Elder Demon taunts that it looks like his son scared him, before asking if he thinks that he can just run away. That combo not doing as much as he expected. Cold compliments that he's quite stronger than he looks. Too bad he didn't stick the landing. battlefield suddenly freezes in a moment of eerie calm. Frieza and his father stand towering over the fallen warrior, their expressions a mix of contempt and dark amusement, reveling in the preemptive defeat of a fighter they deem far beneath themselves. For Frieza especially, seeing Krillin in such a feeble state brings back memories of past encounters, each marked by that Saiyan's irritating resilience and defiance. In the aftermath of Colt's devastating strike, Krillin lies almost motionless in the dirt. Although he's known for his tenacity and unyielding spirit, he is now a picture of sheer vulnerability. Frieza hisses to look at him. He's so scared that he can't even talk anymore. If he doesn't get to hear his cowering and pleas for life, this is much too boring. He'll get rid of him now. Though his father insists for himself to be the one. After all, from what he understands, he's already handled him in the past. Fair is fair, which his offspring doesn't argue with, as he wishes. The former king turns to face the Earthling. He informs that there's no use in trying to run away again. He will suffer either way. Krillin knows that at least one of those statements is true. He's trapped. And now trying to talk some sense into his fourth student of the day. King Kai hollers, that's enough out of Krillin. Is he really going to give up without even trying? He lets himself get overwhelmed by his memories and it paralyzes him. An experienced warrior like him can't afford to make such a mistake. Does he realize that unlike himself, Colt and Frieza haven't progressed since their deaths? He needs to pull himself together. Now talking to all of his students, he reminds that they have never been so powerful, yet he has never seen them doubt their abilities so much. Where's their warrior pride? There's no time for doubt. Rise forth and realize their full power. Get rid of these fiends once and for all. With confidence renewed in our other heroes, we rejoin Piccolo in hell as he faces off against Janemba. He assures that the last few minutes have only been a warm-up. This time he's going all out.
I need to strike fast and hard. That's strange. His key disappeared, but... Bastard!
As Janemba now arms himself, Piccolo curses that his moves are so chaotic he can't predict them at all. And his power, he can still feel that only hit he landed on him. And in the West Quadrant, we join Pikkon. He forgot how weird those three guys were. They still did that weird pre-fight dance. You actually can't help but wonder why they bother to do that every time, regretting that I should have asked him before sending him back to hell. Anyway, the West Quadrant is now secured. And with the whole sending him back to hell thing, I think we can speculate that either the latter explanation could be true, or perhaps once Yema or Enma sentences your soul to one place or another, that's where it's forever tied to. It's possible that our heroes who kept their bodies were never designated to heaven or hell. That's what's putting them at risk if they were to lose said bodies now. Anyway, the dancers Pikkon refers to aren't the Ginyu Force, but Cooler's armored squadron. Cooler himself scoffs in reference to his declaration of securing the squadron, asking if he's really sure about that. Seeing his ugly face again annoys him to no end. Pikkon smirks that he thought he'd be hanging around here. He hopes he isn't too mad at him for eliminating his crew of clowns once again. But by the way, he was just wondering why they do those silly poses before each fight. Is that one of his orders? He didn't think he was into that kind of stuff. But Cooler demands he silence himself. He has nothing to do with that. Although he goes on, destiny is well made. He will use this opportunity to get revenge for what he did to him during their last encounter. And if that's his wish, Pikkon warns that the results of 70 years ago will remain the same, inferring that the backstory of both these warriors has also been changed from what we're familiar with. Cooler chirps that it has been a while, chuckling that it looks like he didn't last much longer after their fight, causing the not Namekian to quip that his race's lifespan is short. They rarely live past 40 years. A retort that angers Cooler. His insolence will cost him dearly. Last time he caught him by surprise, and that won't happen again. Another lame excuse to justify his loss in Pikkon's eyes. When the demon reveals that there's something he doesn't know about him. Last time, he didn't have enough time to use it, but he still has one more transformation.
You will pay!
As much as things change, the more they stay the same. The villain unveils his final form. He's the only member of his family to master such power. He should be grateful. Pikkon is the first to push him to use it. And this isn't all bravado. He's nothing like he was before. His power has gone up dramatically.
Well, let's begin!